Good morning, everyone. Welcome to LisaBug Yoga. And today I have a chair with me. So hopefully you have access to just a small chair at home that you can slide somewhere close to your mat. I'm going to give you some options. We're really focusing on hamstring flexibility today and opening up the hips. And also we're going to practice a few poses that are balance related that tend to be difficult standing up, and we'll have the option to do some of those stretching balance poses seated in our chair. So what I'd like you to do is just come to a nice comfortable seat. And if you don't have a chair, you can sit down on the floor and come into a nice straight backed position. And just bring your feet together. If you're sitting on the floor, extend your legs out forward in front of you. We're just going to close our eyes and come into the present moment, being grateful for this opportunity to pay some extra special attention to what our bodies need today. And for a moment, focus on what you need in your body today. As I guide you through a practice, it's important for me that you maintain your own form, your own alignment, your own body awareness, and staying within those limitations that are best for you today. Taking modifications that you need, either progressing or regressing the poses as you need today. And we'll come into a nice full inhalation through the nose. Exhaling nose or mouth. And 2 more breaths. Inhale. And exhale. And blink your eyes open. As you inhale from a prayer position, hands together, open the arms, expand through the chest, look to the right side. And as you exhale, close the palms back in together and gaze down toward your fingertips. Inhale, expand, open, look to the left side. Exhale, dropping chin to chest. Twice more each side. Inhale, open, pull those shoulder blades together. Exhale, close, dropping chin. Inhale, gazing left. Exhale, close. And last time, see how far you can look to that right side. And drop the chin. And left. And chin drops. Now just inhale, gazing straight forward, open those arms. And then exhale, release the hands down. We're going to take our legs nice and wide, sitting in the chair, and folding forward, we'll come into a seated happy baby. So if you need to have some props in front of you, like a block, you can have that right in between. Toes are turned out, and we're just going to fold the belly down and support yourself on either a block at either height, high, medium, or low, or maybe you can bring your hands all the way down to touch the floor. And just notice what you're feeling here. Maybe in your lower back, a nice release. In your hips and the upper portion of your hamstrings. So the happy baby pose, we would normally do this on our backs, and we would bring the legs up, bending the knees about 90 degrees. We grab the feet and we pull the knees down to your armpits. So if you don't have a chair this morning, you can lay on your back and come into that same pose in a supine position. Let your head relax. And there should be no pain in this pose. So if you're feeling too much tension in your lower back, Bring it up a little bit. It doesn't have to be quite as deep. And just holding about another 15 seconds with a slow and rhythmic breathing pattern. And one more breath. And then roll your spine up to restack. And then stepping your feet back in. So we'll take the right leg and bring the knee up, hug it into your chest, and we'll flex and point the ankle. Just warming up a little bit through that joint. Take a couple circles one way with the foot. And then reverse. And then flex that foot, hold it flexed, and bring it right across the top of your thigh. So this is our seated figure 4 stretch. If you don't have a chair, you're laying on your back, and you're crossing that ankle over the thigh and pulling the knees up to the chest. And then sitting in the chair, I just want you to drape your body forward any amount until you feel that nice stretch through the right hip. And your belly may be able to come all the way down to the legs and relax. It might feel nice to just let the arms go and hang, or you can support yourself right here on the shin. And just as we're getting started with our hip openers, not too long of a hold here, as the body's not quite warm enough for those deeper stretches. We'll just take one more breath. And then rising back up, turn to your right and bring this left hand across the knee. Your right hand can come behind you on the chair and rotate, gazing over the shoulder to the right. If you're laying on your back in figure 4 stretch, you can just drop your knees over to the right side into a reclined twist. And nice long spine here, one more breath. And come back to center. So we're going to take this stretch one more time on this side, and I'm going to give you the option to stay in the chair or stay on your back in figure 4 stretch, or bring this up to a balance pose. So you can use your hands to help you rise, that ankle's crossed over, and then when you feel you have your balance, release the chair, or you can keep your fingertips behind you on the chair, and we'll hold 3 breaths. Nice and stable through the core. And once you finish that 3rd exhalation, you can reach your fingertips back to help guide you back down into the chair, gently in that seated position. We'll uncross the ankle, pull the left knee right up into the chest, and then flex and point. And I'm sitting toward the edge, front edge of my chair, not all the way back, and really using my core to stay aligned. And we'll rotate the ankle, and then reverse direction. And then flex that foot, hold it flexed as we cross the ankle over the thigh. You can be doing the same thing laying on your back, coming into figure 4. Elongate the spine and then drape your body forward. Ooh, this one's feeling a little tighter today. You can tell that my range of motion isn't going to be as deep on this side. So you're always diagnosing those little things your body's telling you in terms of where to go in this pose. And each day that we come to our mat is a different day. So you might have a not so distant memory in your mind that you could go further, but there's no competition, no judgment of yourself if today is a tighter day. Let's take 2 more breaths here, maybe folding a little deeper. And then we'll rise up and we twist this time to the left side. So that right hand can come across, left hand behind. And before you find that full range of motion, lift up through the crown of the head and then rotate. So with each in-breath, find a longer spine. With each out-breath, find a deeper twist. The last breath here. Exhale back to center. And then we're taking our stretch one more time so you can stay in the chair and fold forward. If you'd like to work your balance, use your fingertips to help guide you up off the chair. And when you have your balance, release. And think about your focal point. We call that in yoga upon to help us with our balance, using our eyesight for stability. 2 more breaths. And use your fingertips to help guide you back into the chair. Ooh, where is it? There it is. And then uncross the ankles. So we are going to come into eagle, seated in the chair. You can also do this on your back. So instead of crossing the ankle on top of the thigh, I want you to cross your right leg all the way over, just like you're sitting in a restaurant and you're crossing your legs. Now glue your inner thighs together. So I want you to feel this drawing in action. And maybe your ankle's going to stay to the outside, or see if you can perhaps get it to wind, your foot to wind behind the other ankle. If it's not accessible for you, don't force it. So this is just our seated eagle pose. Nice long spine. So the leg that's on top, the opposite hand will be on the bottom in our eagle arms. So if you wrap your left hand underneath your right, you can either grab your elbows or grab your shoulders, or wrap your elbows until your palms come together into eagle. And then we bring that elbow down to maybe tap the top of the thigh. And round your spine and take some nice big deep breaths into the backside of your body and expand through the back of the shoulder blades. The chin can drop to the chest. Eagle pose. And then rising up. If you'd like to try to balance, let's unwrap the arms and using your hands behind you on the chair, bring yourself forward. Now maybe if you had your ankle hooked before, it's going to unhook. So we'll come up onto that one foot and balance on that standing leg. If you'd like, you can wrap that left arm underneath the right for your full eagle. Or the hands can be behind you on the chair or onto a wall next to you. And let's take 2 more breaths. And very gently unwrap those arms. Guide yourself back. Oh, that is super challenging. Whew. All right, uncross. Sit tall. Cross that left knee all the way over the right. Of stable. And maybe your toes can wrap behind the ankle of the other. So this time, since the left one is on top, the right one will be underneath so that they're closest to each other. So left arm on top, we can wrap here or into our full eagle. And then your option is to round your back and draw those elbows down toward the thighs. And then when you inhale, I want you to expand the back side of your rib cage. So as you breathe in really deeply, feel those intercostal muscles releasing and expanding. And imagine that you're standing up and balancing on your right foot. And just give yourself a little mental dress rehearsal. And one more breath here. And rising up, unwrap the arms. And again, you can do that same pose seated, or we can try to stand up on your foot. Now, a little bit of a hint, if you get your standing leg underneath you more, so kind of walk it back, that's going to help you to rise up and find your balance. Once you're there, maybe you can let go of that chair and wrap the arms and hold. Boy, I can sure tell which is my dominant balance side. It's quite a bit different one to the other for me. Let's try a couple more breaths here wherever you are in this pose. Now be very careful as you bring yourself back into the chair. And then we'll uncross and unwrap our eagle pose. Take a nice big deep breath in, sweep the arms out and up. And as you exhale, reach behind you. You might be able to find the back of the chair if that's the type of chair you have, or you can interlace your fingers behind and come into a gentle chest expansion. And we'll just take one more breath here. This is a nice counter pose from that eagle wrap. And then release that chest expansion and rise to a stand. And I'm going to adjust my chair over to what I'm going to use as the top of my mat. And this prop is going to be accessible for those of you who might have both wrist issues and a little tighter hamstrings, so we can use the chair. Some of you might not use it at all, or you might have a couple of blocks at home. You can have those up to the top of your mat as well. So what we're going to use the chair for today to start is a downward facing dog. So I want you to inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale and swan dive down. Now, if you're not using the chair, go ahead and put your hands on the ground and step back to down dog. Or come into this assisted lifted down dog. And what I love about this is that you can get this wonderful stretch for the lats, for the shoulders, for the chest muscles without a lot of pressure onto the wrists. It also gives us a little bit of stretch through the hamstrings. And we're just going to hold here and breathe. So if you're choosing down dog on the mat, the hands come down, the feet walk back, and we press way away from the hands. and drop those heels down. Knees can be bent as much as you need to find a nice release here for the hamstrings. And let's take 3 more breaths, either from the chair or from the floor, sinking a little deeper with each exhalation. And then if you're in your down dog on the floor, we're going to lift the right leg up and step it forward into lunge. If you're using the chair for your down dog, just simply step your right foot forward and your left foot back a little bit, and we'll come into warrior one. So lift those arms all the way up and extend. And a warrior one stance doesn't have to be really long from the top of your mat to the back of your mat. You want to square those hips forward. And we are going to come into pyramid pose to stretch our hamstring. So start to straighten out your front leg, hinging from the hips. Keep a nice long spine, and there'll be a point where your hamstring will find a good amount of length, and that's where we want to stop. So if you're using your chair, your hands can come to the chair, your elbows. If you're using your blocks, they can come all the way down to the blocks, or hands can come to the mat, just depending on your flexibility today. So it's a better stretch if we don't hunch and round our back. So I can curve my spine and really get my nose down, but then I really lose this stretch. So we want to keep the back neutral, tip the sitting bones back, and fold the belly toward the thighs rather than the nose toward the knee. And let's take 3 more breaths here into our pyramid pose, finding that length of the hamstring in a safe zone that feels good for your body. One more breath. And then we are going to twist this into a revolved triangle. So coming up just a little bit, maybe you'll try it from the chair first. And my right foot is in front, so my left hand will be on the chair. I'm just going to twist this open. Now the arm doesn't have to be up. You can place your hand right on your blocks as we. You can have your hand on the mat if you have that ability with extra flex. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Your chin. I can get more twist if I'm up higher. And then after that second exhalation, lower the hands back down. And then if you're using the chair, we'll step back to down dog again, or you can drop your hands down to the mat and step fully back into your downward facing dog. Two more breaths. And you might be able to notice a little bit of difference in the stretchy feeling you have in the back of the right leg as compared to the left. So if you're on down dog on the mat, you're going to lift your left leg and step it all the way through to lunge. If we're using the chair, just come up, step that left foot forward, turn your right foot out a little bit, and come into your warrior one. Squaring off the hips, finding a good alignment. And then just bring those hands right down to the hips. That'll help you to notice whether they're squared or whether they're twisting a little bit. And then let's straighten out the left leg. Hinge right from your hips. We're not rounding our back. And then find your range of motion. Hands to the chair, hands down to your blocks, hands to the mat. If you don't have any props today, you can gently rest your fingertips on your shin. You don't want to push against your knee, and you don't want to push so hard that you lock out your knee joint. So there's still a little micro bend in that knee. And let's hold wherever you are today. Try to tip your sits bones back with a slight posterior pelvic tilt. Now that would be an anterior tilt. Yes, anterior tilt. And just a couple more breaths here. Maybe sinking a little bit deeper. Such a good stretch, such a good pose. And then let's see where we are with our revolved triangle. So I'm going to bring the hand up to the chair so it's opposite. Right hand is on the chair, left foot is in front, and then turn open. I also like to wrap the arm behind the back. That's a nice stretch for the shoulder. You can try maybe coming down a little deeper to your block and see how that feels today. I can tell the difference the lower I go. My twist isn't quite as deep. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Then we'll come out of that twist. And this time we'll step the back foot forward into a forward bend. And you can use your hands right on the chair to support you. You can bring hands to your blocks, or you can really fold down if you're feeling super stretchy into that full forward bend. You can grab your opposite elbows and hang in ragdoll pose. And bring your awareness fully to those hamstrings, to your lower back, making sure everything's feeling good here. If you're feeling any pain in the lumbar spine, it's kind of nice to make this a half lift, either using your chair or bringing your hands right to your shins, come up a little bit and bend your knees slightly. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Nice and full. And 1 more. And then release those arms, reverse swan dive, come all the way up into upward salute, Urdhva Hastasana. Stretch upward, press the palms together, and drop the thumbs into heart center. And we'll come into warrior 3. So this is a balance pose. Let's step the right foot slightly forward. Bring your left foot behind you and lift your foot up off the floor just a smidge and see how your balance is today, just standing on that right foot. And then just like a teeter-totter with your body straight as a board, we begin to hinge forward until we find a place where we can hold this warrior 3, and voila, your chair is there if you need it, or your blocks. Now, once you have that balance, hands at heart center, the traditional warrior 3 is to reach standing leg. You use the chair for some assistance. Feet come back together. You might need to shake those legs out. Let's take our warrior 3 on the other side. So the left foot will be in front, the right In yoga, traditionally, you have ankle. So we strengthen that leg, extending through the heel, and then begin to tip forward, just like a teeter-totter, with the. Now, sometimes our right hip wants to rise up here. So I want you to drop that hip down and level your hips off. Use any props you need to assist you with balance. Drishti, your focal point, and begin to breathe. Draw your navel upward towards your spine. And shake out those legs a little bit. So Warrior 3 is a foundational pose for half moon and revolved half moon. So if you're still working your balance and you want to stay in that foundation, then I want you to repeat Warrior 3 again. If you're ready to take it up to the next level, we're going to work on half moon. So with half moon, our body, instead of facing the floor, will face a side wall. So if we start with our right foot in front and have either your blocks or your chair in front of you for balance, we'll come into our Warrior 3 to begin. So I want you to put your right hand either on your chair or on your block, your left hand to your hip. And for now, keep looking down at the ground and start to rotate your left hip up toward the ceiling so that your belly button and your entire torso begin to face the side wall of the room. And this upper arm can lift and reach. So you can bring your head to face the side wall. You can even turn your head to look up toward the upper fingertips, which is really challenging. You can also let go of the chair and float that half moon if you have your balance there. Let's take 2 more breaths. Flex that free leg, that free foot, and really activate your thigh. Really straighten out that leg. And then we come out of the pose the way we came in by shifting back down into our Warrior 3, leveling off the hips, and then rising back up to a stand. Give those legs a little bit of movement, maybe a breath, and then we'll prepare for the other side. Standing on the left foot, your foot faces directly forward. We'll take the other leg behind. And again, if you're still working on the foundational pose today, you are just repeating Warrior 3 and you're going to stay with your entire torso facing the earth. If we're coming into half moon, the left hand is on your prop, right hand is on your hip. You'll keep your gaze on the ground as you start to open the right hip up so your torso starts to face the side wall. Arm can reach. And then once you have your balance, if you want to play with where your gaze is, that's going to be the extra challenge in this position. Or to lift your hand off of your prop and see if you can just float this and balance, or maybe just one little fingertip is on your chair. And let's hold here 2 more breaths. And coming out the way we came in, we slowly revolve the torso back to face the floor. We're in Warrior 3. Level off your hips. And then rise back up to mountain pose. Let's take a forward bend. So inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive into your forward bend. Your hands can come to your chair top, to your blocks, to the mat, to opposite elbows hanging in ragdoll. Just let that lower back release. Two more breaths here in our forward fold. Then reverse that swan dive, coming all the way up. Extend through the fingertips, Urdhva Hastasana. Press the palms and draw the thumbs into the heart center. One more layer for this balance pose. So again, if you're working on your foundation, you're going to do Warrior 3 again. If you were practicing on your half moon, you want to try that one again, go for that one. Otherwise, we are going to revolve our half moon. So we're going to twist the opposite direction from what we just did. So your right foot will be the one on the floor, that's in front of you. The left foot is behind. Shift into Warrior 3 to start. And it's always nice to just bring your hands to your chair top or your blocks, just so that you have a good balance before you decide which direction you're going. So regular half moon, your body would be turning to the left. Revolved half moon, your body's going to turn to the right. So I'll keep my left hand on the chair or on my block, and I'm going to twist toward the standing leg side. Lots of options here with this free arm. Really activate that floating leg. Two more breaths. Back foot can even find the floor here. One more breath. Come out the way you came in, back to your Warrior 3. Level off your hips. And then step that back foot in. Really takes a lot of mind-body connection. So a lot of concentration. Left foot now is the front leg. Right foot goes back. Shift into your Warrior 3. And again, maybe this is just where you're practicing and staying today, and that's absolutely fine. If we're doing our revolved half moon now, the right hand stays on the prop. We start to turn the body to the left. Hand can be at your hip. Reaching up. Activate the right leg nice and strong. So you're tightening your thigh muscle, your glutes, actively flexing that ankle. Two more breaths. Coming out the way we came in, back through our Warrior 3 till our hips are level. Rising back up to mountain pose. And relax, arms by your side. So we are going to flow through our Sun Salutation Bee. If you would like to use your chair for your down dogs, it's available for you. If you're not using your chair, you can just bring it out of the way so you have full use of your mat. Maybe your blocks are in front of you. So with our Sun Salutation Bee, we start with the chair pose. So take a nice inhale as you sink into chair. The arms can reach up next to the ears or pressing at palms. And then we'll exhale and dive forward into forward bend. Inhale to half lift, the fingertips slide up the shins, the back elongates. Exhale back into your forward fold. And then we'll step back into a downward facing dog. And again, you have that chair to use for less pressure on your wrists. From here, we complete what's called the half series vinyasa. So the first time we'll do a nice basic level. So glide forward to plank and let your knees come down to the mat. From your plank, keep your elbows close to your body and bend them as we sink the belly down to the mat. Once it reaches the mat, lift your chest up off the floor into a baby cobra by activating the back muscles, but keep the chin slightly tucked, the legs are active. Then as you exhale, press back up to the knees and either take a child's pose here or back into your downward facing dog. From here, we have a warrior one on the right side. So we can either lift the right leg up or just step that foot forward, up toward your hands. The left foot plants with a slight turnout and we rise up to warrior one. So we did this on our chair earlier when we had the hands on the chair to down dog and we just stepped that right foot forward. One more breath. And then bring your hands to your hips. So today in our Sun Salutation Bee, we're going to add our pyramid pose. We did this before. Straighten out your right leg. Hinge from your hips. Hands can come to your chair, to your blocks, down to the mat. We'll hold our pyramid 3 breaths. And then from our pyramid pose, rebend your front knee and find your downward facing dog. So again, if your hands are to the chair, you can step both feet back or hands to the mat. Hold your down dog. We flow through our half series. Now your options again are to drop your knees to the floor as we did before, or keep a nice straight leg as we bend the elbows into our chaturanga, then extend into upward facing dog or baby cobra. You choose the series that works best for your body. And then pressing back either to child's pose or to downward facing dog, we'll hold 3 breaths. And then just in your mind, start to prepare yourself to step your left foot forward into warrior one. You can raise the leg to start if you'd like to, and step that foot. Now say you only get it this far. It's like, what do I do? I have to grab my ankle with the same side hand and then push it forward a little bit. Plant the back foot, rise up to your warrior one and square off your hips. And then we'll bring our hands to our hips to add in our pyramid today, straightening out the front leg. Hinge from your hips. They're the fulcrum there. As we come down, hands placed to the chair, to the blocks, to the shin, or to and hopefully you feel like you can take this a little deeper than our first pyramid this morning. And then begin to transition by bending the front knee into your down dog. So if your hands are here on the chair, step your left foot back or hands on the mat. Hold that downward facing dog. And then we'll finish with one more half series vinyasa. So glide forward to plank. Take your options, either drop your knees to the mat or stay up on your toes. Bend your elbows into your chaturanga. Extending the spine into baby cobra or upward facing dog. Then press back either to child's pose or down dog, about 3 breaths. Really open up those armpits. And then we'll prepare to make our way back into a forward bend. So you can tuck your toes, lift your hips back into that down dog, and either take as many steps as you want to walk yourself forward or take a big jump. Once you come to forward bend, inhale to half lift, nice flat back. Exhale, fold back down. And the palms rest at heart center. We're going to flow through that through that sequence one more time. Surya Namaskar Bee with an addition of pyramid pose. Inhale to chair. Exhale to forward bend. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Walk or step back to downward facing dog. Glide forward to plank. Knees or toes, chaturanga, lower the belly down. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, child's pose or down dog. Just 2 breaths this time. Preparing for our right leg to step forward into warrior 1. And we can also just bend the knees and crouch and spring that foot forward. Rise up and find that nice strong warrior. Preparing for pyramid, hands can come to the hips, straighten out the front leg. Hinge from the hips with a nice straight back, neutral spine as you fold. Find your range of motion today. This will be your last pyramid on the right leg. So really find your edge. Preparing to transition to down dog, we'll bend that front knee. Your hands can come to the chair. Step back into your down dog. Preparing for the left foot to step forward into warrior 1. Back foot turns out slightly as we rise up to that pose, squaring off the hips. And hands come to the hips, straightening out the front leg. Hinge and fold. Down as far as you feel comfortable. A little tiny micro bend in that front knee. Then we'll transition back into our downward facing dog. Preparing for our half series vinyasa flow. Glide forward to plank from the knees or toes. Lower down chaturanga, strong triceps and shoulders. Spine extends, baby cobra or up dog. And pressing back to child's pose or downward facing dog, 2 breaths. And this time we'll just bring the knees to the mat and relax into traditional balasana, child's pose, where we bring the arms next to the sides of the body. We allow our shoulder blades to roll open. And then finding a seated position. If you like, you can sit up onto a blanket. You can come back into your chair if you wish. And we are going to find one more hamstring stretch. And we extend the legs forward. You can have your yoga strap close if you'd like to use it. This is Hashimotonasana, which is an active moving forward fold. So we can use the arms by inhaling to sweep up, and then exhaling to lead with the belly and fold forward. We're going to take 3 of these moving forward folds. So we'll inhale to come back up, exhale to fold. And you can also have your hands behind you as you fold. One more time, inhale, come up. Exhale, fold, and then we will hold this stretch. So you might be able to grab underneath your feet with your hands, or your yoga strap is a wonderful tool here to use, flexing those ankles. If your hamstrings are really tight today, let your knees bend up a little bit and fold forward here. So you find that release that suits you best today, and there's no pain in the lumbar spine. One more breath. If you're using the yoga strap, you can just let it go right where it is. Inhale back up and exhale down. That was Hashimotonasana. Now we'll do Janu Shirsasana, which is one leg extended straight. The other knee can tuck right into the inner thigh or the other sole of the foot. And we'll do 3 active breaths. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach. Or hands behind you, exhale, fold. One more, and maybe each time you fold, you're going just a little bit further. And this one we hold, maybe the assistance of your yoga strap. Just about 10 more seconds holding. Releasing the strap. If you're using it, inhale back up and exhale. Janu Shirsasana on the other side. Left leg extends forward, right knee bends. And if you're doing this seated in your chair, you're just sitting on the chair and one leg is extending out in front of you, it works just as well as on the mat. Let's take a breath in. And exhale, fold number 1. Inhale. Dive a little further. One more, breathe in. Find your edge, using your strap if you need, and we'll hold 20 seconds. It's about 4 slow breaths. And then we'll inhale, reaching back up. Exhaling down. Soles of both feet together. Baddha Konasana means bound angle pose. And we'll do our 3 breaths here. Now you can either hold onto the ankles or you can use your arms extending up if you're not feeling any pain in your lower back. Exhale and reach. Inhale, we rise. Exhale a little deeper. One more breath. Finding your edge. Bring your arms down to support. 20 seconds holding. Inhale, rise back up, reach. And exhale, relax down. Either sitting in your chair or staying on the floor, hands can come to your knees in Baddha Konasana, or we can cross our ankles. We'll stir the pot with our spine 3 times to the right. So we'll lead to that right side, round forward, to the left, and back to neutral, twice more this direction. Loosening up any remaining tension in your lumbar spine, in your hips. Pausing when you're complete exhalation as you round forward. Last time this way. And come back up to neutral spine, eyes closed, as we prepare to close our practice today. And if you like the Anjali Mudra, our Namaste position, prayer hands, the palms come to heart center and the thumbs actually connect with your heart, with your sternum, as we pause to express gratitude and honor and respect for ourselves, for those that are with us today online and later on YouTube, and for our teacher. And the light and love and joy that resides within me honors the light, love, and joy in each of you. Namaste. I am so grateful for all of you joining me today. If you can stay on for a minute for a check-in, that would be great. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow, and tomorrow will be our last Friday class in the month of December, as the next 2 Fridays are both Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. Hard to believe. So I'll see you tomorrow for our cardio class. Thanks, everyone.